Hello friends, welcome back. It's time for another video. And today we're going to do a week-long vlog because I miss my Law and Order sounds. So let's start with Monday. Hey, it's Monday. I like the doom doom. Love it. Love everything about it. There's a lot for me to do this week. I do have to take care of my daughter in conjunction with my wife, but she's doing awesome. Honestly, the first couple nights that she came home from the hospital, those were a nightmare, those couple of nights. It was every half hour or so having to lift her up and reposition her and get pillows, and neither of us had really slept. Well, none of the three of us really had slept. We were sort of getting on each other's nerves and exhausted and everything. But ever since those first couple of nights, every hour it seems like she's getting better and better. Like, she's able to stand up on her own. You don't have to help her lift. I won't get into the personal hygiene stuff. That still requires some assistance, but everything's great, and she's not wincing in pain with every single thing that's going on. So that's wonderful, and I'm happy about that. But I'm still taking this week off as family-related leave from work because I basically still have to be available 24 hours a day to do things. But I'm also going to write in the meantime, fill in time, make use of the time. So the copy editor, I have a copy editor, by the way, which is awesome. She got back to me on books 1 and 2. So I've got notes that I have to implement. And I want to do that soonish so that I can get on with audiobooks and stuff like that. Now, I also would like to get her book 3. I think I said in a video that I finished doing book 3, but I was just looking through it. I'm like, I haven't finished implementing all of the feedback into book 3. So I have to do that. That's going to be not major, but it's going to be a thing for this week. So we're going to implement dev editor feedback into book 3. I'll check that the critique partner and alpha reader feedback was incorporated. I believe it was. I think it was just the dev editor stuff, because it came after, that wasn't necessarily incorporated yet. If it even needs to be. Sometimes it's just adding one word to make things a tiny bit clearer for her. Fine. And then I'll go on to making tweaks for books 1 and 2, and I'll send book 3 off to the copy editor. She's got a lot on her plate, but there's no deadlines. I don't have arbitrary deadlines, so she'll get to it whenever she gets to it. And it's not like I'm friggin' made of money, so I gotta calm down a little bit there. That's fine. So that's what I'm gonna do today. At the moment, I'm in a Natalie and Taylor stream. So we'll just get a little bit more done on book 3 while I'm doing that. Okay, and we'll see you either later tonight or tomorrow. Hello, it's me again. I might as well be truthful. Not that I wasn't before, but actually record crap that I'm coming up against here. I'm going through book 3. I'm like, Jesus, this is garbage. Not the whole story, but there's a sentence, and then it just goes into dialogue. And it's like, could we have a description, even basic, Henderson, of the room that you've just entered? How did any of this get past anyone? Could you please, if you're evaluating my things, alpha reader, critique partner, dev editor, I don't know that my dev editor actually watches me. Can you call me out on this shit, please? Because, Book 3, you can't see it. It's on the screen here. And if you could see it, you'd know who the murderer was, and that's no good. But they go, it's domes, okay? There's a bunch of domes. And they go from one into another. And they don't describe the dome at all. Like, it's the mess hall. There's a whole dome dedicated to the kitchen and mess hall. But there's no description until people are like reacting to the non-description. And it's like, and how it makes me feel, and this isn't imposter syndrome, this is legitimately being bad. It makes me feel that this will never end. These books will never be finished. I won't make it past the first 6. It'll take me 30 years to get through all this garbage. It won't. It won't. I'm overreacting. But that's how it makes me feel sometimes. I hit these things and I'm like, Saint-Sacrement Saint-Cyboire Tabarnak. C'est comme ça que je me sens. You have to say me sens, which means feel. Because if you just say sens, it means smell. And it's not what we're trying to say here. There's your lesson in French today. Okay, I will continue on with this stuff, but I am supremely annoyed with myself. Past you, be better. In the past, whatever. Future you, do better. Or present you, I suppose. Present you, do better than past you did. Book 3 needs a little bit of work, it seems. So I'll have to go through the dev editor's notes, and then I'll have to do my own pass and like actually check if any of this is any good. Dev editor, I'm paying you to call me out on my bullshit. Could you please call me out on my bullshit? Thank you. She does a great job. I'm not actually complaining. But she's more about the relationships, that aspect of it, and that's great because I'm not great with relationships. Imagine that. Okay, fine, bye. Hello, it's another exciting day. Kids are listening to incredibly loud movies in the other room. So, last night, there was a thunderstorm and we lost power. And then today again, there was another like rainstorm, thunderstorm, and we lost power again. And I was thinking of you, Dana, assuming you're watching this. I hadn't actually shut down my documents. I hibernated my computer. I put it in sleep mode, which I don't normally do. I normally just leave the thing on. And for whatever reason, maybe the capacitor had enough to, maintain the RAM state for this hibernation, even during the blips in the power. I didn't lose anything. Everything was here, well, when I brought it back up just a few minutes ago, which is awesome. So I didn't lose any progress that I made all day yesterday. And I can't remember at all what I said yesterday. So I'll maybe just say it again. In my dev editor document, I used the thumbs up thing to check off where I am. And apparently, I had closed out of the Word document. We're working on book 3 right now, the revisions on that. I'd closed out of the Word document without saving it, because I guess I was an idiot like 4 months ago or whenever I last looked at this. And so I thought I was back a lot further because the thumbs ups only went back so far. But in looking at these notes and then the actual Scrivener document, I'm like, oh, wait, no, I did actually implement some of these things. And some of them I only half-ass implemented. So I decided to take another crack at implementing it. So I'm a little bit further along than I thought I was on book 3. In fact, at one point, I thought I was actually finished book 3, but I'm not quite. So we'll keep going on that. Again, tonight it's Tuesday, Tuesdays and Thursdays are always Evelyn streams for me and a lot of other people. Evelyn's wonderful in the community. And she has live streams where you write for various amounts of time. Usually she spins a wheel and it comes up with different times, and people vote on what they think the time will be. And there's something called Doom that's anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. And tonight, it's not a wheel spin stream, it's a locked in the library stream where you're in there for 3 hours. So it just started. We're at 2 hours and 55 minutes remaining. It just started a couple minutes ago, and I thought I'd knock off the first part of this video. And there's no talking. She's not talking during it. You really shouldn't be talking in the text, like the chat thing, but you can, I guess. But it's a neat concept where it's just like, let's stream for 3 hours and not say anything to each other and just get some friggin' work done. So that's kind of cool. Good for Evelyn for coming up with all these neat things. And she has like a Gru stream, and she does the Writer's Convent or Covenant. I don't know, it's a Halloween thing. It's a C word. I don't know, witches and stuff, whatever. Where she gets a bunch of people to sign up and do Halloween streams. She's got all sorts of themed streams that she does. So if you're not subscribed to Evelyn Black, that seems to be her channel name, Evelyn Black, then do so, because she's wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to get some work done. I'm going to keep going on book 3. No idea how long this is going to take. I mean, apparently right now I'm on chapter 8, but I think we're actually past that. I just have to double check some of these things. So, cool. We'll see you in a bit. Hey, what's up? Evelyn's stream's finished. Well, it finished 2 hours ago. Excuse me. That was great. 3 hours pretending to be locked in a library so that nobody spoke. There was a little bit of chat in the chat, but nobody spoke. And we just got some work done. So I've been going through, as I said, book 3. I'm going through my dev editor's feedback because I'm trying to get book 3 off to my copy editor. And I'm noticing a bunch of things in book 3. I don't think I did an Ian pass on it. Well, I wouldn't have, because I don't seem actually to have finished the dev editor's stuff. It looks like we got to about chapter 10, which is, it's only about a quarter of the way through the book. So I thought I'd done more on this book than I actually seem to have. Maybe I just implemented the alpha reader's feedback and the critique partner's feedback. It's possible that that's all that happened in this. And a little bit of the dev editor stuff. So I'm going to have to continue going through making all the dev editor changes, if I agree with them. There's some things I don't agree with. But for the most part, I agree. She's a smart cookie. Knows what she's talking about, and she's read all my books. Like, if I had just sent book 3 off to a dev editor, they might have different things to say. Just like if I threw book 6 out to a different dev editor, they might have other notes than this dev editor. This dev editor, and that's why I've stuck with her. Well, and she's competent. I mean, that's why you pay people, for their competency. She knows the whole story, so she can remember things that have happened before, and her notes skew to that to make sure that the whole story works. Because in essence, like, I'll give you a little secret here. These 6 books plus the prequel, so 7 books, it's all one story. They're individual murder mysteries, but it's all one story. It even bleeds over a little bit into the actual 7th book, which is the Void series, book 1. It bleeds over a little bit into that, but it's mostly contained within these 7. And I mean, honestly, if I could get away with releasing a 500,000 word book, I might do that. But but that would be kind of weird. It would have to be part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 anyway. So we'll release them as separate books. But, you know, I really hope people do read them in order. But murder mystery-wise, you could read them in any order, I suppose. Or only read one of them. Like, I guess you could start with book 3 if you wanted to. And if you found yourself excited enough by the investigators and the little hints at things that are going on there, you might be enticed to go back and read book 1. Do you need it to understand the murder mystery part of it? No, you don't. You need it to understand the thematic arc, the little thing going on over top of everything. Oh, I'll let you in on that too. Okay. That's actually called a subplot. It's called a series subplot, but I don't like the term subplot. It reminds me of like a sewer level in a video game, and everybody hates those. You know, the sub. So I call mine a thematic arc. It's a little nice sprinkling over top with a little bit of extra story. And there's 3 or 4 of them going on over top of things. One for the whole series, one for like the 6 books, and then there's different characters have their own little things that are going on. Those are also called subplots, but again, I hate the term subplots. The books themselves are just the murder mysteries, and then there's stuff going on with the characters and the world and all that stuff. It's kind of fun. And then there's some things that are seeds. And I know I'm going to have to go off here a little bit. I watched a video on, I won't say, but there's a guy who gives writing advice. And he was making fun of people who have little things in their stories that won't apply until book 30 or something. And as I was watching that, I was thinking, I was maybe using curse words as I watched and listened. Because from my point of view, doing this, it's like doing a murder mystery. You plant little seeds, not red herrings, but like you plant little seeds of what's actually going on, and the person might get it, they might not. But it's once you reach the end, it's in the reread where everything makes sense. You're like, oh, of course it happened like this. Of course this is the way this was. Of course he was talking like that and saying these things. And of course those two ended up the way they ended up. That's my thinking here. So I don't care if I put in a sentence that won't actually come into play until book 30. That's what I'm doing because that's a little hint. And it's also incredibly impressive for readers because they're like, wait, you mean he actually planned this entire thing like this from the beginning? Yes, I did. I know exactly what's going on in every book. Well, not the murder mysteries, because those I make up on the spot pretty much. But I know the overarching story. I know all of it. How it ends up, how everything goes. And I've known it pretty well from the beginning. So, yay for me, I suppose. Okay, well, see you tomorrow. I'm going to keep working on this for a bit. It's 20 after 12 at the moment, but I'll keep working on it for a bit. But I don't want this vlog to be too friggin' long. But I just wanted to let you in on that. Okay. Love you lots. Oh, It's good tea. Oh, hot tea. Okay, hello. Thursday, as the thing said. We skipped over Wednesday. Why? Because it's the same. Everything's the same. I hate week-long vlogs. Do you think things really get accomplished that quickly? They don't. It's the same thing every day, okay? We're in book 3. I'm going through the dev editor feedback. Who's the dev editor? I've never said this out loud before, but I have permission to say it. And based on a video that she just released, I think she'd appreciate it if I said it. It's Brielle. Brielle Cruz is my dev editor. And I don't read too much into this, but like I love her. She knows, because I've given her every single book, she knows the story. She mostly relationship, but also structure and all sorts of stuff. I won't say mostly, because like I don't want to do her a disservice. She gets it all done. She calls herself a manuscript critique service. Fine, call yourself whatever you want, but you're a dev editor. And she does a brilliant job as far as I'm concerned. So I have no issue recommending Brielle Cruz's manuscript critique service to other people. I did have a different dev editor for book 1 originally, and he did. I'll probably make a whole video on this just so it's not buried in this thing that nobody's going to watch. He did a formidable job as well, except that there weren't that many or any dev edits. It was mostly, in my opinion, and remembering back 2 years, it was mostly copy edits. And at the time, I was like, am I having confirmation bias here? Because I don't want to be excited about this. If it's just confirmation bias, which means like I agree with him because he says I'm right. Right? That's basically confirmation bias. And I was like, I got to send this out to somebody else, because I can't possibly have written a perfect book for the first book that I've ever written. And I wanted more female input, because there is a little, well, okay, God, I'm going to get myself in so much trouble here. I don't mean it this way, because female input can cover everything. But at the time, I was thinking structurally, logically, scientifically, everything was working. But I was like, are the relationships working? And I wanted more female input on whether the relationships were working. And I don't mean that offensively in any way, but it's just, could we all just be honest with each other for a second? Men are not thinking emotionally. Generally, we're thinking logically. And we do have emotions, but it's more, we're more logical, okay? Look, I'll tell you the truth. Why not? We're in the middle of this stupid thing. Let's do it. Okay, so there have been tests done. Little babbies, okay? Little babies, they're put in front of televisions. Male babby, female babby. On the TVs or screens or whatever. One's showing gears. Either a clock or an engine or some sort of mechanical thing running. A logical system. And on the other one are various emotions being portrayed by a mother figure. They put these two babies down and they see where they crawl to. I think you get where I'm going here. The female babies all went towards the screen with the mother. The male babies all went towards the screen with the gears. Does that mean like it's an absolute? No, it doesn't mean anything. It means that in that particular study, male babies went towards gears and females went towards the emotions, the faces, the mother. It's just a thing. But that study kind of stuck with me, and I'm like, whatever, who cares? You know what? I can't help what I am. I'm male, okay? I think from a male point of view. That's it. That's how this works. Okay? And if you're female, you think from a female point of view, and that's how that works. And neither one of us are wrong, because our feelings can't be wrong because they're our own. That's important. I came up with that years ago, but it's important. Okay, so we're doing book 3. We're going through it. We're doing all these things. Fine. I also happen to be in an Evelyn stream, the TTWG, I believe is what it's being called now. The Tuesday and Thursday writing group is what it is. So if you're not subscribed to Evelyn Black, I think I said this the other day, subscribe to Evelyn Black because she's wonderful. And I think I said that the other day, and I might have even given a thumb up. I don't know. Christ, I do the same thing every friggin' day, which is why week-long vlogs are stupid. Because I just do the same thing every friggin' day. Okay? So I'm going to keep working through book 3 as far as the dev editor comments go from Brielle Cruz. And then I'm going to go through... I'm going to ensure that the alpha reader, I do have an alpha reader, and a critique partner, I'm going to make sure that their things were implemented as well. And then I'm going to go through on an Ian pass, and I'm going to fix up all this writing because Jesus H. Christ. Sorry, religious people who actually care that I said that. This writing is awful. Book 3 is awful. How did I send this out to people? Well, I did, because only the plot's important. We'll get into that in yet another video. I think I'm going to do a cake, and I'm going to show you all the layers of the cake, and I'm going to tell you what's actually important and what's just friggin' frosting. To me. I mean, and I'm wrong about everything, Maybe go follow more important people. if you want better advice, like people who actually have millions of dollars. But they tend to be selling systems. Their advice is, no offense. The people who are actually successful tend not to say anything. Like Stephen King released a book, but he doesn't really talk that much. It's not like he's got a YouTube channel where he's spouting off nonsense every week, like I am. Yeah, there's a lot of popular people. They don't say very much. It's only the wannabe populars that tend to say a lot of things and have writing channels with advice, advice channels. That's something I wanted to go into, is advice channels. If you're writing a book for the first time and you're not through it yet, stop listening to advice channels. Don't listen to any of them. That will not help you. That will not help you finish your book. You will have decision paralysis. And I feel like I said this in another video, but I talk to myself a lot too. And sometimes I cut crap out of my videos, believe it or not. There's a lot of crap left in, but sometimes I cut it out. You'll have decision paralysis if you watch all of these friggin' craft videos. Screw them. Screw all. They disappear in like a couple of years anyway. All these writing advice channels, right? I followed a bunch. And I've only been active for 2 years. I followed a bunch. At least 4 of them have disappeared. Maybe they say all they have to say and then that's it. They just go. Or maybe they realize that because they're not actually writing books, they no longer have the authority. I really don't know. But like, writing advice can be great, but it's also holding you back from finishing your book. So I know the irony of this being advice. Screw advice. You know how to tell a story. You've read books. You've heard people tell stories before. You know how to do it. Screw the advice. Write your story. Okay? And then in reading back through your story, if you feel there's something you want to improve, then go looking at writing advice and like implement that. Tweak it. But you don't have to implement all of it because again, it's just you'll be paralyzed. There's so much. Why is there so much? Because they have to fucking say something every single week. They have to keep giving you something new. And half of them, they're just trying to sell a course. So they only give you like 75% of like the actual thing they want to say. And then if you want the in-depth thing, then you know, sign up for my course. It's only $9.99 for, but you know, if you act before Saturday, it's okay. Those people are called shovel salesmen. There's an actual term for them. They're called shovel salesmen. If you think back to the gold rush, who made money on the gold rush? It wasn't the idiots going out there sifting through sand. It was the people selling the sieves. It was the people selling the shovels. It was the people selling the pickaxes. The people hiring out, I don't know, pack mules or whatever. And like selling food to all these idiots. That's what most writing advice is. It's people who know that you're desperate to write a book for whatever reason. You've always wanted to do it or whatever. And it's great. Good for you. And they're trying to sell you things to, you know, latch on to that desperation that you have to write a book. And they'll get every penny out of you that they possibly can. So my advice is do the storytelling first. Write a story. You know how to write a story. Beginning, middle, end. Write a story. Do the actual writing after. The writing is the frosting. Okay? Like you're layering in things. You've got your character arcs. You've got all this nonsense that everyone says you absolutely need, but you don't actually. Learn how to tell a story first. Then layer in all this crap. Okay? And if there's writing advice out there where they're not holding back, you know, the last little bit of information, sure, you can watch those. That's fine. You know, like there's a few of them. I don't want to name them because I don't want to. Well, why not? Who cares? It's just me. Nobody watches me anyway. Book Fox, that guy's all right. Okay, yes, there's Book Fox Labs where he's trying to sell you some shit. But the videos actually give you everything you need. Every single video for free gives you everything you need. The fact that he sells things on the side, that's up to you. It's not to get the information that's missing from the video. It's if you want to go further. Okay? Thomas something. It's a B word. Belizio or something. I don't know. The Right Mindset, I believe, is his thing. I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I don't like people reading scripts. That kind of bugs me. But the advice is actually quite good. And there's nothing wrong with him. And yes, he has books available. But he gives you all the information you need within the video. You just have to put up with someone reading a script. But he actually, if he does live things too, and if you go to the live things, then you get a bit more of his personality, unscripted. It's quite nice in the lives. That's fine. So we got Book Fox, we got Right Mindset. That other guy, what the hell's his name? Carson something. I got a book of his here somewhere. Carson Long, Writing Theory? I think it's called Writing Theory. I like him. He's very enthusiastic. Videos are short enough. He's, again, as I said, enthusiastic. Yes, he has a couple of books that he's written, but he's not trying to get you to buy them. He provides the information that you need in a video. And he's created some other tools as well, and that's quite nice. It's not like endlessly trying to manipulate you to sign up for some friggin' course. Okay? There was another guy, he was called Duncanosis, and then he was called, I think it's Carl Duncan. It's what I liked him. He was very funny. He's disappeared. You know, there was another guy named Riker. He's disappeared. There's been a bunch of people disappear. It's just the way of things. But, you know, we might as well look, the Abby Emmons of the world. I'm not saying that her videos are wrong. I'm saying that she holds back things on purpose to get you to sign up for courses. If you're okay with that, go ahead. And look, I don't want to get sued or anything, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people giving writing advice are just getting it from other places. I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying any of these people are. But there's only so much of it, isn't there? And you regurgitate. You tend to regurgitate. You know, maybe mixing around other people's words into your own and calling it your own advice when that's not actually true. But they have to stay on top, right? They have to stay top of mind and try to sell you things. That's their entire reason for being, is to sell you things. Generally. Okay? Like, yes, BookFox and Right Mindset and Writing Theory, whatever, and Abby and all these people, they're all getting ad revenue, but nobody really cares about that. But yeah, they get ad revenue, so they're even making a video, they're manipulating you into giving them money because there's ads. But that's less blatant, you know. Every TV show through all of history has done that. You know, good for them. And I'm not against people making money. I'm never against people making money. I'm against manipulation. I'm against people manipulating people by giving little treats and then tricking them. Oh, but if you want to know the real answer, you know, you got to stick around. You got to pay more money, because that's what cults do. And we don't want that. Anyway, I don't want you to buy anything. F off. I put stuff in my books specifically to get you to DNF them. Did you know that? Every book, the first 20 pages or so, I put something in to get you to DNF. Because I only want people who will actually put up with these books to read them. I want you out quickly. You can get a refund or whatever. I want you out as quickly as possible. So I specifically put things in there to get rid of you. Yes, I want people to enjoy the books, but I also don't want to feel imprisoned by this. I have the freedom to write whatever I want, and I'm going to. And if it offends you, I put a little something in the beginning to get rid of you so that I don't offend you. That's my goal. Right? Because I refuse to manipulate people. I do the opposite on this channel that everyone else in existence does, which is why I only have 150 or so people. I do it on purpose. Nobody gets that. Nobody gets that. I get emails every 2 seconds. Hey, improve your SEO. Hey, why don't you change this and I'll help you with the I mean, everyone gets those emails. They're nonsense, right? But they don't seem to realize that I'm doing this on purpose. I don't want your money. This is a journal of me writing these books. It's like a blog on GeoCities or LiveJournal or MySpace, or like, how old can we get? It's scratchings on papyrus that I had under my pillow so my mother doesn't know what fantasies I have at night. Whatever. You know, that's what this is. I'm not here to manipulate you. I couldn't care less if you ever give me money. And that's the reality of it. And that's what I'm going to stick to. I'm just letting you in on this so that if you're having the same writing things or the same feelings ever, you're like, hey, there's another guy. He's a bit of a dick, but, there's another guy who's suffering right along with me. That's what this is. Okay? We got Evelyn. We got book 3. We got tea. I'm good for Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you lots. Bye. I don't care if Monday's black, Tuesday, Wednesday, heart attack, Thursday, never looking back, it's Friday, I'm in love. Oh, it's so great. Okay, it's Friday. It's Friday and we're singing songs and doing things. We're writing, we're being creative, we're participating in the community, we're doing all sorts of things. Oh, it's glorious, isn't it? I mean, I'm not showing you me making matchas and cleaning up my kitchen and whatever, cooking food. If you want to know about cooking food, I mean, I didn't actually record any of it because what a pain in the ass that is. It slows the whole process down. I know because I had a cooking channel for a while. Last night, I made macaroni and cheese from scratch. Well, not the macaroni. I actually wanted penne, but they bought macaroni, so I had to use macaroni. Anyway, I barbecued some chicken, chopped that up. I used my homemade bacon, chopped that up. And then I made the cheese sauce, or if you're closer to the Mexican border, queso. And, okay, the cheese sauce is the key to it all, right? And it's so easy. You don't have to make a roux. Stop making roux. They're the stupidest things ever. Just get heavy cream. Okay, 35%. Get a liter. I think that's a quart in American terms. I don't know. Dump it in a saucepan. Bring it up. So it's warm, but not boiling. Okay, pretty hot, but not boiling. And then you need like 3 cups of cheese. Okay, I used smoked Gouda that I made myself. I smoked it myself, okay? Throw that in. I used a stick of, or a block of cream cheese, and I used a wheel of brie, triple cream brie. It's kind of expensive, but it tastes really, really good. The trick to brie is that you have to freeze it. Okay, put it in the freezer. I mean, I left it in there for, 4 months, but at least an hour or 2. And then when you take it out, take a vegetable peeler and shave off the white mold rind. Because to me, at least, my palate, if you warm a mold-based cheese, not based, but like, if you left that rind on, it just makes the whole meal taste like it's gone off. Like that sauce Roquefort. Roquefort is a blue cheese. I don't appreciate that flavor when it's hot. Cold, perfectly fine. Or room temperature, perfectly fine. Hot, it tastes like moldy bread. It tastes like what the inside of your school bag smelled like when you didn't eat any of the sandwiches that your parents sent you to school with. That's what it is. Anyway, whisk, whisk, whisk. All the things, dump it in. You can bake it for a while. here in Canada, at least for me, I can't speak for all Canadians. I don't know them all, amazingly. We don't do the stupid crispy crust on the top. That's an American thing, or perhaps other places as well, but we don't do it, at least here in this family, because I don't do it, and I'm in charge. I'm not in charge of anything, but I don't do the crispy crust. I don't think it needs it. I don't think it needs that textural variation, because mac and cheese is usually a side dish for something that does offer a textural variation. Anyway, so it was bacon, chicken, mac and cheese. That's it. That's what I made yesterday. The day before, it was spiralized zucchini from the garden, where you can make noodles using those stupid spiralizers that everyone was selling 10 years ago. Fried up. What else was in that? Oh, it was the shrimp. I added shrimp to it, and I made the peanut sauce that I normally make for pad thai. And the most important thing about that is tamarind concentrate. That gives you that little sour kick. Tamarind concentrate is incredibly important, and you can buy it on Amazon, and it's like a bottle with, it's brown and has like yellow type or something on it. I'd show you a picture, but I don't care. That's incredibly important. That peanut sauce is to die for. I'll give you a recipe if you want. I don't care. We could I'll put it in the comments if anyone asks for it. Okay, peanut sauce for zoodles and zucchini noodles and shrimp. Apparently that was good. I didn't actually have any. I didn't have any of the macaroni either. I cook for other people. They are ravenous. I don't eat anything. Okay, moving on. We're on still, which is why vlogs are stupid. We're still on book 3. I'm still making my dev editor comments. Some are easier than others. Like I'm looking at 3 here in a row. One says, love it. Okay, well that's not really actionable, but I'm glad you loved it. Lol, love it. Great little callback moment, chef's kiss. Okay, that's great. So every once in a while, my dev editor does actually gush, which is nice. She has 3 levels of feedback you can request, and one's like straightforward or brutal, and I always pick that one. So for her to actually gush, it means that I actually achieved something. That's nice. And the other one, the other comment here, I'll read it to you because why the hell not? How do I do that? Come on, Word. Could you participate a little bit better? What is the person they just saw doing during all of this? Has she frozen? Are her hands up? Also having a hard time picking up the layout of where everyone is standing, moving here. Is this person inside the freezer or out of the door? Also, you say Miles works his way out of the freezer, which made me think maybe Miles was moving to a position behind this person and asking Zach to join him. Okay, so this is difficulty in picturing the scene. Fair enough. I'm not overly descriptive. And there's some blocking. Normally you try to minimize blocking, but in the case of not really knowing where everyone's standing, and in this case we have 5 people in this room. Oh no, we don't. Miles, we don't have Marjorie yet. We have Miles, Candace, Zach, and I think her name's Megan. She's not a main character, she's just in this book. So we have 4 people. And dev editor having trouble picturing this. So fine, I'll have to go in and tweak that so that we can picture where everyone is. That does not involve rewrites through the entire book. That involves tweaking this little section. So it's not that bad. And a lot of things are like this. You end up tweaking a sentence, tweaking a paragraph, tweaking a scene. I have never yet, in writing 9 books, that I've sent to her had to rewrite something that cascades through the book, through the entire book, because that's what I focus on when I'm writing. And we might make an entire video on this, because I keep changing what I'm saying in the videos, but like, it's a murder mystery. I'll say it quickly. The plot of the murder mystery is the most important. The characters don't matter at all. But bear with me because they do, and I'm just saying this to say it. I have to make sure that plot is right. And the characters for the murder mystery, not our main characters, the detectives that are actually investigating this, but the characters for the murder mystery, they all have to be in the right positions at the right times and saying the right things and blah, blah, blah. That has to be perfect. And that's what I focus all of my energy on. The detectives and what's going on in their lives, kind of outside the case, but also while the case is going on, that I can play with. That doesn't need to be perfected because it doesn't cascade through the story. It doesn't actually impact that story at all. What it would impact is the whole story, like either the 6-book chunk, the thematic arc, or the 30-book chunk, and it would impact that. But I can fix that later. I need my murder mystery to work, and that's the plot and the characters involved in that plot, not my detectives. Those also have to be right, but they can be right later. So, we can't have plot holes. And so, yes, you think I write these books very quickly. I think I write these books very slowly. Because to me, it takes at least 12, sometimes 16 hours to write 5,000 words. And yeah, I do it each day, like every day in a row for about 2 weeks until I finish the book. But it's all about making that stuff work. And then there's typos. Like there's all sorts of typos and stuff, but the plot has to work. Then I'll go through, we'll do an entire video on how I do all of this nonsense. Then I go through and I'll fix the typos. I used to not do that, but it's actually kind of important that I do that now, so I will. So I'm not wasting people's time. Yeah, I do respect my alpha reader, my critique partner, and my dev editor. And I don't want to waste their time with typos that might confuse them or just annoy them and make it feel like all sloppy. Well, it's sloppy because I write it quickly but slowly. It's just like, whatever. Okay, so it's Friday. What am I doing today? I'm going to keep going through this. Book 3. Again, we're nowhere near being complete because I have other things that I'm doing. I'm, taking care of my daughter-ish. I mean, she's making good progress, but it feels like we're just running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, honestly. It's fine. No problem at all. That's what you signed up for. It's fine. And it's great to see her with a smile on her face most of the time. That's good. The odd tear, but they're fewer, further between. So that's good. And, I got some work stuff, my actual job, that I try to sneak in there every once in a while because I got to keep up with that too, because there is only me at the moment to do that, which is fine. So if I have something else to say tonight, Friday night, I don't know what time it is. 4? 5? Come on, phone. Apparently it's 5:30. If I have something else to say tonight, I will say it. Okay, bye. Hey, it's Saturday. How friggin' exciting is that? Woo! And we're in exactly the same position as we always are, because there's only so many places I can put that friggin' tripod. And, block out some of the mess in this room. So we try to keep it tight on this ugly mug. What have I been doing today? Oh, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and sorry, I'm just going to close the lid on my microphones there, just so that they don't end up picking up any sound here. Are we just doing the one? Yeah, we're doing the one. Okay, good. Good. Went down a bit of a rabbit hole, figuring out what I needed for the audiobook insulated booth that I have to build. It won't be soundproof, but it'll be acoustically treated enough. And I will show you a picture. I'll bring it up on screen and I'll give you prices, I guess. They're Canadian prices, so, divide it by 50 for the American prices. What's not shown in this drawing that I might be showing you are the actual moving blankets. So I've got a 12-pack of moving blankets on the way. I'm going to build this frame out of a bunch of 1.5-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe, which is rigid, fairly rigid. So that should hold everything up, we hope. I needed some corner elbows, some couplers, a grommet set so that I can hang the moving blankets, some heavy-duty zip ties in order to move those. And then the whole thing's $506.25 Canadian, including taxes and shipping. Now, I had to order most of it's from Amazon, but the shipping blankets are from a place called Vivor. They sell a bunch of nonsense, but it's all really high quality. I got a meat, like a sausage maker. What do you call it? Like an extruder, a press. You put the meat in and you turn the thing and it extrudes it into the intestines. It all sounds incredibly gross, but sausages are wonderful. I got the shipping blankets from Vivor because they're less expensive and the shipping was free on that, so that's great. The pipes, I was going to order them from Rona. I mean, there's Rona, there's Home Depot, there's a few different places, but I ended up getting them from Amazon because Rona was going to charge me $82 shipping. So I got them from Amazon and they're only 40 inches long. So I had to get twice as many of them for the uprights and then couplers to stick them together. But that actually works out perfectly. All the measurements work out perfectly. And, I don't own a truck. I can't just drive around places picking up 10 or 12 foot long pipes. It's not a thing that I can do in my stupid Mercedes, Don't worry. It's old. It's an old Mercedes. Not rich. So once I do that, I will create a video, like when building it all. We'll go through the parts again. And I got to figure out, like, the computer I'm going to use to record this mic. The big mic you can't see. Turn. It's got a cover on it. This mic, we'll have to find a table to attach it to. Okay. I like to keep dust out of these things. That's the whole reason for this little bag. And up and away. There you go. Okay. I'll have to find a table. There's another mount I can do right to, like a wooden table or something. I might do that. I'm going to have to throw another blanket on that table so that it doesn't bounce back. I got some other things I could do. Anyway, I got to put a light in there, and then I have to figure out how to actually read the scripts or the manuscripts. So do I have it on a computer monitor? Do I have some sort of tall laptop stand, even though I don't have a laptop? I do have a laptop, but I don't use it. I only use that for doing bills. I suppose I could use it for this purpose. Or I could print off a chapter at a time and just like stick with tape the manuscript onto the shipping blanket wall that I will create. Haven't decided what to do there yet. I will not be sitting, I will be standing when I do voiceovers because I do the opposite of what everyone in existence recommends, and I don't care. I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of videos with voiceovers in my lifetime for Fortune 50 companies. I actually do know what I'm doing, believe it or not, based on these videos that I'm currently creating. This is just to get stuff out, right? I didn't need a third job. So that's why these videos are so, poorly produced because I don't want to do things properly. Doing things properly takes a very long time as far as YouTube goes. The audiobooks, I will do them properly as far as I'm concerned, and that means not sitting. You get better voice, better projection when you stand. And you can like flail and emote and stuff without hitting a desk while you're doing that. That's fun. Have you ever seen those Hollywood, what's it called? DreamWorks or whatever? You see the people in the booths, they're standing. They're flailing about, acting, doing all sorts of things. It's fun. We'll do that. I know normally people want like conversational level audiobooks. I don't care what people want. These are mine. I'm doing whatever I want. And if I make no money, I make no money. Doesn't matter to me at all. Everyone that I will have hired in the creation of these things, they'll have all made their money, so they won't care either. I'm sure they'd love me to succeed, but there's no guarantee. None at all. I might make $1. So be it. You know what? I only live once, and this is what I've decided to do for this chunk of my life. And I'm going to see it through, and I'm going to do it properly, and blah, blah, blah. There are no guarantees, and nobody owes me a damn thing. Including you, viewers. You are not expected to buy these books when I publish them. You're not expected to buy the audiobooks. You're not expected to do anything. Would I appreciate it if you did and left me a review? Yeah, that would be lovely. But I'm not counting on it. You're basically here to keep me company while I write these. And I hope that's okay with you. I hope that dynamic is all right with you. You can cheer me on or tell me off. No one really tells me off. You should. I'm a jerk. But I appreciate you cheering me on. I don't expect you to spend your money on these things. You can if you want, but I don't expect it. We'll see if I make anything. Okay. And I'll let you in, right? Like unless I make a lot of money, in which case I probably won't make a video on that income. I don't like gloating or anything that could seem like gloating. So if I end up making a fair chunk on these, I'm not going to tell you. I'll just say something like, yeah, everything's going all right. But if I've made $12 in 6 months, I might tell you that. Just so that you get a realistic portrayal of what's possible, even if you spend $5,000 per book trying to put these things out into the world. So there you go. I don't know if I'm right, and if you want me to behave differently than that, then let me know. But that's my thought at the moment. We're going to wrap up Saturday. I'm going to edit this thing, and I'm going to throw it up onto YouTube. And I'm going to drink my tea because I am gasping for a tea. Thank you very much for watching this not particularly exciting week in the life, because I don't do anything or go anywhere. I just sit here and plug away. That's the only way anything gets done. You just sit and you plug away, and a little bit more gets done every day. You sit out there watching TV all the time, nothing will ever get done. You will have watched more TV. That's what you will have accomplished. Some days you need to relax, and that's how you can do it, but you want to get your writing done, just sit your ass in the chair and get some writing done. Doesn't matter how much, just get a little bit done here and there. Okay? We'll see you next week with some other video that I don't know what it'll be at all in any way. So, love you lots. Bye. Do I have anything else to say about anything? Probably not. No songs, no nothing. This thing will be stupidly long anyway.